we make the game, of course. We can only hope to have weekends like this, especially after such a long wait. It just brings joy to us to see the greatest players in the world play at this level, in this venue, with this kind of energy, and it's done nothing but deliver. And that's completely out of our hands. That's the players that do this, and the level of skill and everything else. It's just hard to capture it, quite honestly.
And just like we did in 2019 with Decker, a lot of new stars or people that we knew of, but a lot of top people making runs. Brandon Robinson, Bryce Lepic, those guys, not somebody you typically see on the top end of these brackets. It is great to see not only the old school favorites, those top guys like McCook, Luna even in that regard as well, but Brandon Robinson making a hell of a run on the loser side there.
And yet, the favorite to win this, Paul Luna, the favorite at 6-1 on this here odds sheet is right there, right? So you've had these runs, you have these moments. I think the competition, the thing that's really been, this almost slides through, the thing that's been really unbelievable to me is just the matches. You haven't had a lot of live-sided matches on the stream. You've had a ton of walk-offs. We saw it in mobile.
A lot of OT.
It's extended to this as well. So as we get down here, and the room is now abuzz, what are you expecting to see? What are you really looking forward to most here with, a handful of people still left?
Yeah, so Brandon Robinson taking on Paul Taylor, the winner that will meet the King of the Hill, which is Paul Luna and Lance Harris. You expect Luna to be there. Of course, looking at the odds, you expect Lance Harris because he's at the top of his game.
Yeah.
Paul Taylor, it can go, I said this earlier, Paul Taylor either makes a massive run or he has a couple of bad rounds to start and he's out of Sunday match play. That's not a knock on him. He's a great player, but sometimes you just get in that rut where you're either on the top or you're out.
Paul Taylor 60-1 to win this tournament. Lance Harris 30-1. We should be talking about Lance, by the way. Second place, Golden T-Mobile. Now he's guaranteed a podium finish here at the arcade version. He thought I was his jinx. He's told me that a handful of times. I was his curse when I would call us qualifying matches in Golden T-Mobile. I went over and talked to him. I said, hey, I don't think I'm a curse anymore. And he said, well, let's just wait on that. Let's just hold on.
Don't speak
Fair
too
enough,
soon.
Lance. Fair enough. No, but he has played, I think, to do this. Talk about the stamina. I know he's sitting down for Golden T-Mobile. I know he doesn't have to stand. But
still, though,
it's a long couple of days for those guys as we are warming up a machine. And we've got ourselves a nice change of pace, a palate cleanser in the silver finals. Sean Gervais, who I thought, Kevin, would compete in the gold finals. Going to try and win himself a silver.
Yeah, Orlando Ayala taking out Brian Bernhardt to get back to to the winner's side, and he's got to beat Sean Gervais twice if he wants to be the silver champ. And we haven't seen our buddy Pine Creek here in a while, at least for our matches we're calling. I don't know if you can ask for a better course for the silver championship final because absolute ton of top talent that did not make the championship bracket, and it was
this
no
was
easy
this was
feat.
the undoing. Late in the rounds, Andy Haas, others could not, conquer some of the late setups, which were really, really difficult.
Both in qualifying and match play on both sides today.
Absolutely. So, all right. So we are here, and again on the championship side, we'll get revved up soon as well. But I'm excited to see this because look, we talk about the grind of the weekend. This is a grind in the silver.
Double elimination.
You didn't make the cut. All right. These guys both really wanted to make the cut. They're great players. You got to come in, you got to battle. There's still big money on the line, of course. And now we'll see what both of them have. That looks pretty good.
Now it's funny, the Ayala brothers don't come to as many tournaments, and I think the running joke was their wives didn't know. Well, now they know because the family's here. And I guarantee you, I met Orlando's wife and daughter, and I think we're going to see him at more tournaments now because, they can see what's going on. I mean, he's in the silver championship final.
Pretty impressive. And by the way, this is a pretty meaningful moment here. So Gervais unable to get it there. Now going to try to thumb this one in.
Oh, that looks.
Line looks good.
Boom.
Yes. Wow.
Twisted Bliss, Sean
What
Gervais.
a shot. What a shot. Doesn't have to hit the green.
If you get stuck in the sand, you can't ask for anything better than a little chip out like that.
And Sean Gervais, I think it's a broken record, but you talk about a guy that has just not run well at Worlds. Think about leading up the last 2 years that we did it. He would drop a 28 or a 29 in a match. He'd qualify great. He'd lose to a 30 or a 31. It's sort of been his tournament MO,
even at the national tournament scene, he's had that trouble a lot. And, yeah, somebody who does not make a lot of mistakes, but just losing to those 1 or 2 or even 3 betters, talk to him, talk to Brian earlier. Of course, like these guys don't want to be outside of the gold. And the same goes for Orlando. You want to be in that gold championship bracket, but guess what? If you're going to, unfortunately, not qualify, this is the next best step of making a run through so many great players in silver.
I also think, too, when you miss the cut, you're in silver, you're in purple, whatever the tournament is that you quantify it. And I think at first you're kind of you're okay, I'm going to play this out. And then you win a couple of games, and you don't know the darn difference, right? You're there.
Oh,
the juices are flowing. The money, of course, quickly becomes larger and larger. In the instance of the Worlds, of course, there's a lot of money here. And so, yes, Sean Gervais is disappointed to miss his first cut.
Ever. He's been around for a long time.
But to validate it here with this showing, holy goodness. All right. I don't have that shot.
I don't think that was his intention to barely skip it with the 8.5
I don't know.
Through the water.
He looked very confident in it, though. So that's why we are here. Solid. And I'll tell you, it will give him a really nice look, though. I mean, that's a little bit of a risk to that, but this is wonderful. This could drop.
Yeah, when Sean Gervais gets hot in match play, you gotta stay away from him because he will just run through you unless you drop more hole outs than him.
I've played Sean a few different times. I think both of them were close longer than they should have been, and then me doing something incredibly stupid, which figures, right, in Golden Tee at least. Let me make sure to quantify that appropriately in Golden Tee. But yeah, he's an unbelievable player, and again, not surprised that he's made it through the grind of the silver side. And this is not your normal silver bracket, of course. World champions.
If we didn't say silver championship or silver bracket, and you just saw the players in this, you would not think anything of it, honestly.
No. Yeah, it's really a bracket that you'd see from a local, tournament. Absolutely. Just unbelievable play here. All right.
Oh, I think he clipped
Did he catch that.
I think he caught the leaf.
All right, so that's a significant moment potentially.
Yeah, because that 10, that 10, not necessarily in your face, blowing at like the 334. This is like a weird, almost Casper the Ghost-esque fairway. I just made that comparison now, but I don't know what else to say.
It's pretty solid. I can see it now.
You have a really thin area. Very thin area.
A good window there, it looks like, though, especially with the wind.
Very thin area of the fairway to hit. Now, Gervais did not hit it, but he got clear of the trees.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the pin placement, and I don't fault Orlando here at all for laying up, because if you try to get cute and get anywhere near it, you're going to end up in the crap, and you're going to put yourself in a worse position than trying to hole out, from the fairway, which is something that both these guys do fairly often.
Given the amount of spin he's going to would have had to have applied to that thing would be shooting right. And this is a nice break for Sean. Good shot, good break though. A nice clear window, and essentially, unless this goes in, he's going to gain a stroke. Ooh,
that was a run.
If this goes in, and it almost did, great shot there. But still, Sean Gervais going to grab one. So our first deficit in the match comes hole 5. Look at this. This
might be the shortest look I've ever seen on that. Wow. Nice little G-wedge backspin.
45 yards.
Hope it hits the cup and doesn't go in the water.
Give me this in closest to the pin, by the way.
That looks good.
Oh. All right. You want to erase the deficit. Here you go. So he's likely going to tackle this, I imagine, with bite. He's got the spinny sand wedge. Coming back a little bit so he can hammer this thing.
Oh, and he's done it!
Wow.
There we go.
Wow.
Smart play by Orlando. He needed that.
Great distance club spin management. Beautiful.
It might have only
Absolutely
been hole 6, but he needed that. He
Yeah,
needed
you
that.
drop one, you gain one. That's perfect. Sorry,
You get
so we're
back.
back to square.
That is
Really, really fast. And I love the strategy there with bite, bringing the sandwich to the back of the tee box. Absolutely fabulous.
well, it's smart. You saw Gervais use backspin. It was not a bad shot, but
No,
you
it
run
almost went in.
you run the risk of getting wet. If you hit that, you accidentally hit the trackball too soft, you're wet with backspin. If you accidentally hit the trackball a little bit too soft with bite, you're usually going to be okay.
Well, the spinny wedge, I think, gave him just a ton of options to how he wanted to play that and worked out. Now, look, again, don't blink. Good wind here. A lot of different ways to play this shot. Is it going to be bite to kind of let this thing try and roll out into the hole? It looks like it is. Look at this. Oh, close. All right, here we go. Now, trying to drop a hole out. Again. All right, here we go. Close on that one. But just misses. Building up another one-stroke lead, and we go on here to hole number 8. All right, now. Fun day of matches.
You know, I don't remember hole 8 being so difficult, and I feel like this might be where Jim Z worked his magic with the remastered courses to just throw in a little extra flavor and challenge players. Because very often it's a par 4 hole 8 that you're worried about clipping trees and getting wet and throwing your game off.
Yeah, this is what a fun course. I agree. It's a great tournament course. He didn't look like he loved that, but that should be fine.
Now he's got to go around to the
Yeah.
right because of those trees in front of the green. Oh, that looks pretty good. Oh!
Awesome shot. Awesome shot. You're right. The subtle difficulty of that, having to just bend that around the tree, is absolutely fabulous. Now trying to roll this thing up there.
Now, see, he hit the fringe.
Yeah.
It's a little nerve-wracking because you're on the fringe, but you're halfway towards the rough.
It's a big fringe.
And honestly, we've seen it a handful of times. Like, these are the chips.
Good
That was
chip.
great.
Good
You
chip.
just got to punch that in because these are the chips that if you think just a second too much on, something that these guys would hit day and night at their local bar. But when you get to the World Championship stage,
Yeah,
even for the silver bracket,
You just don't want to, that close, you don't want a non-putter in your hand. But I think it was the right decision, too. Huge amount of fringe to have to hit through.
and nerves just settle in sometimes with such small shots like that.
All right, so this is a pretty good look here, too, getting the ball out. Sean Gervais. He hits the ball, by the way, so quietly, Sean. He wants to be
really
a little bit further
does.
back, give himself a better angle, find a club that works for him. Could it maybe go over the top here with the 6? And he is. Line looks pretty good.
Kind of surprised he didn't put bite on there.
Yeah.
Didn't end up, with that 11-mile-an-hour wind, the down green slope, but I really like this 5 hybrid look for Orlando.
And he's clear of the trees. Well, let's see. He's got some options here. 3 clubs that
that's
actually.
actually pretty great. He could really go almost any of them, 5, 7, or the 9.
Good shot.
That was making a
shot.
run.
Yeah, he could have. He had 3 clubs there. All of them would have worked, depending on the types of shot he wanted to hit. But still going to be all square. All right, back 9 we go. Probably been the theme of our tournament thus far. pin tucked back right. Going to have a pretty good look at it, although the wind not exactly helping there.
Yeah.
With that back right
Wind
pin.
is not your friend here. You're going to have to do a little cutting potentially. But, okay. I don't blame Gervais for trying to hit that a little bit harder.
Yeah, give yourself as good of angle as possible.
You're still
right,
in the first cut. It's not going to affect your club. But, yeah, like you said, it gives you a little bit more wiggle room to work with. Thinking maybe release. I don't know if he – maybe release with thumbs to the right. Very soft, thumbs to the right.
Yep. Good shot.
That's exactly what you need, because again, you can kind of see it in that shot. But this is one of those courses that once you get to the rough or the fringe on the green, it starts to slope down, and the last thing you want to do, even though you still have plenty of golf left, is flirt with that fringe and the rough.
That's a pretty cut.
That's
man.
a nice
that is
run.
A pretty cut. Beautiful shot. All right, so still here, and if you're just joining us, silver bracket finals. Gervais has yet to lose. And so far in this one, all square. But we have seen a couple of, or at least a lead change here. Good shot.
You know, I almost felt like watching his mannerisms there, he maybe should have taken like a half a second more to think about that. It felt like he pushed it, like he rushed it a little bit. He still got the GSPs.
Can he find a line here? Can he find a line?
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Two great shots.
He thought he found a line there, but it was really close. Gervais, a rare smile at the cabinet.
That is true.
Not a guy that shows a ton of emotion.
No.
I think it works for him.
All right, this is an interesting one. 374.
Wow.
You flirt with too many trees if you do not hit it dead straight.
So what, maybe just a smidge of a cut here?
Yeah.
Push it out a little bit.
Oh.
And that's the problem, just a smidge of a cut. That's a long hole,
and
right?
it's tough for him because he literally was a pixel away from hitting the sidewall.
This is interesting. Talk about the benefit of honors. Although you're staring that one down for a minute, I think that's really, really smart. And it's also a really, I think, challenging look. Gervais saw him on hole one, not able to drive the green. Still make it from the sand there, hoping for the same outcome, and this is a big shot here.
You know, honestly, probably the smarter move to just go with the lob wedge. If you try chipping that, you're running too many risks. It's a one-stroke deficit. It's not what you want, but it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I do think we've seen some pretty smart, careful play, but not to a negative by any means.
No, I would agree with that.
Sean
100%.
with the lead, and that's a pretty good look, actually.
This, one of these guys may hold this. I give it like
this
a 50%
is going to be
coming
in very hot at the pin if they can find a line.
That's that.
Overcut.
That's all right. He's going to have a down
putt.
putt.
Is good there. Trying to figure out how he wants to bring this hybrid in. This is nice. I think he'll give this a run.
I like the backspin. He's just got to make sure he doesn't do what Sean did and overcut it.
It's very easy to do that with the hybrids, by the way, like just those lower lofted clubs.
Especially when it's offset, just a hair.
Story of one of the stories of my Golden Tee career. All right, if you can call it a career. So Sean's still up one.
Still a few holes left to play, though.
Not too bad.
We still have the professional Golden Tee player eater called hole 17.
Yes, no kidding.
And in 16 too, that par 5 is not a cakewalk either.
No, that hole has been go home and practice, clearly. Not them, me.
That's next week's event. Is all hole 17 Pine Creek.
It was unbelievable. All right, so can we get it? Can you find that shot here? That's a pretty good line, just a little deep.
It's a big putt. Not a difficult one, but again,
they're all big and difficult here at the end. Sean, there we go. And there it is. All right, so this shot makes me just a little uncomfortable. You got to really, really trust yourself and your lines just to make sure.
Just to avoid the water, the rough, the trees.
These guys do it pretty natural.
But why wouldn't you just, what's so different about just hitting that?
I don't know. I kind of like Sean's shot to bring it in. But that's fine. All right, so you've got a pin kind of squarely in the middle. A couple of different ways to bring this one in if you want. Sean going to just kind of cut that. That's a good shot.
Now this is where, if it was me, I have a 3 hybrid that would be the shot there for me. It's a great shot though with the 8-wood.
Wow.
The problem with the 8-wood is it's so hard. You can carry that 8-wood pretty far. Now, he wasn't hitting that hard, but just always makes me nervous.
That is a versatile club for sure. All right, still one stroke.
Oof. Did you see that pin?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
I did.
Now you see Gervais, he's thinking, do I hit it short and then go through the gap and try to cut that 15 in?
It's pretty nice.
You know, it's
but
probably
the next shot is the fun. Yeah.
It's probably the better option. This is not a case where you're going to see the guys go 2 different ways.
All right.
All right, he's got the 4-wood. 4 or 5 here.
You're going to cut this back against the wind.
This is one of those where
just bring it out a little bit.
Don't get cute with
spin
it.
Toward the hole.
Just get it on the green and make your 40-foot putt.
This is a shot that I think Gervais, who really knows how to swerve the ball quite well, I think this is right in his wheelhouse. Not saying it's not in his wheelhouse either, but this is a shot I think that you'll see Sean flex his muscle a little bit.
That's exactly what Orlando needed.
That's a good shot, yeah.
A nice uphill putt.
Now, distance here is a little interesting because that's, you're going to have to cut some distance out of this. But I really think this suits Sean's game. If you look at that swerve.
That is pretty damn beautiful.
I mean, it's just his, he really has a great feel for the track ball. That is a ridiculously difficult shot. It's a great putt
That's
right there.
That's a great putt.
I call that Gervais one, though. He's done that against me a few times. It's pretty, man.
Personally.
I mean, that is like golden tee excellence at its finest. Now, this mess of a hole, man, it's been a day.
It's a thin gap with this tee box that you got to play here.
That's an interesting pin. That is a very interesting pin. We've seen it mostly in that back right, mostly right side. Let's see. Can he get over? He can. Oh, good shot. Good shot. Doesn't have to worry about fringe. Doesn't have to worry about any of that. That is much different than what we've seen throughout this tournament. Really, really clean-looking shot.
And that, I almost feel like that bottom left pin can be more dangerous at times. But 7 hybrid, it's a good club for that because it takes away the trees. You still have to worry about those ones in the back there, but we've seen so many people clip the trees right above the pin, or excuse me, right above the tee box because of the iron clubs. Oh.
Now, you can make this. But it's not a fun shot to have to make.
No.
You have to land it just in the right spot.
Oh!
Great shot.
That was a good run in it. That was the safest way.
It was.
You start trying to chip, it just gets a little hairy.
No, and with the green elevated the way it is, that's a big putt. That's a great hole for Sean. We just have not seen a lot of birdies there. So 2 shots. Sean already sizing it up here before Bull heads in.
I was going to say Gervais is going to lay up on
Absolutely.
this. No reason to flirt with that bunker.
You know, we can talk about 17 being carnage. This hole has been carnage as well. 17's been the precursor, and then 18 has kind of finished the job in a lot of these matches. Saw Mouth get stuck up against the bunker wall, having to try a miracle shot. Evan on this hole. That's not, he's got a lob wedge and he's got spin. That's not bad.
No.
He should be able to get over there okay.
Now it's tough.
You've got to hope for something here, though, still. That's only half the battle. And if Sean sticks this, which he's most certainly going to do, doesn't just stick it, he almost jars it.
And you look at on Gervais'
right?
face.
That's why 2 shots. We talked about that deficit. 2 shots. It's huge. That was a great, great shot, man.
Honestly, he deserved that. Should have dropped.
Look, this is not the title that Sean wanted. He had bigger aspirations for this, but that is a heck of an achievement here.
Sean Gervais,
unbeaten in the silver.
Undefeated, our Golden Tee world champion in the silver bracket, 26-24 on Pine Creek. I mean, Pine Creek has been doing damage to a lot of players. That was probably one of the cleaner rounds that we've seen on Pine in sense of there wasn't a lot of mistakes.
No, that shot on that par 5 where he swerved in that 5-wood, that speaks to his game. So again, he probably is embarrassed right now, right? He is, knowing Sean, because Sean wants to win tournaments, but now he's got a title, and this is a prestigious one. This is as good as any normal Peggott event you will see. He had to go through a monster field. Mark Stenmark, Brian Bernhardt, Jared Decker, Clint Grover. That's a bracket, right? That is a bracket.
I mean, it's a world championship level bracket itself. Like we said earlier, 64-man double elimination, and to go undefeated. A major congratulations to Sean Gervais, because that is no easy feat.
All right, so the silver bracket is decided